there, I'm coming on today to show you a mini album. It's an 8x8 album that I have created, and it's out of the 49 and Market line, but I did not follow their suggestions for photos because they suggested real tiny little photos, and I wanted to have big ones for this, or at least decent sized ones. So I did my own thing with it. But this is going to be for sale in my Etsy shop, and I think it turned out just gorgeous. This is their Kaleidoscope line. I believe it's retired. I don't know if you can still find it. I've had these for a while, and so I just now made this one, and I want to show it to you. I'll do a walkthrough and show you this gorgeous album, and I decorated the cover, as you can see. I think so. I'll just go ahead and show you the album, and then I'll show you the box that you will get with it. It'll make a lovely gift, or for yourself, you could have it as a coffee table book. Anyway, I'll go ahead and dive in and start showing you some of the things and tell you like how I plan on making one for myself and how I'm going to use it. So anyway, I think this is just absolutely gorgeous. Look how beautiful that is. So the measurements are, I said it was 8x8, but I think it's a little bit bigger actually. So this is 8 and an eighth. Well, actually it is 8 and a quarter. So it's 8 and a quarter wide. It is almost 9 inches tall, and then the spine is 2.5 inches. Yeah, 2.5 inches for the spine. So it is a nice size book, very sturdy chipboard, as you can tell. And so let's go ahead and dive in. Now I put this lovely sheet here. I punched this out with my Creative Memories punch, and I just put this sheet to cover up where the oh gosh, what can I think, hinge, or part of the hinge was. Anyway, I thought this was beautiful. And then let's look at some of the photos that we could potentially put in there. So I have this one. Now what I did, all of these are, you can lift them up because I have it so that you could put your photos, you slide your photos in. This might not be the perfect size for that one, but yeah, so you slide your photo in. This is a 5.5 by 3, actually backwards. It's a 3.5 by 5.5. So you could put your photo in, and then if you wanted to attach that a little bit, you could. I'm thinking about using it for garden photos. So, you know, if you have your garden you're proud of, you could take photos and put that in here. It'd be great for some outdoor photos. Say you have a bridal shower outdoors, or I'm looking for other sizes to fit in there. This 4x5 probably would be too big. And of course you'll have to crop your photos down. No, actually the 4x5 fits in there nicely as well. But I was thinking, like, you know, if you have a wedding shower outside, baby shower outside, wouldn't even have to be outside, but I think it would lend itself to these, all kinds of occasions. My friend and I love to do winery tours, and you know, it would be pretty for that too. So here we have a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So you would of course get your 4x6 photos and then crop them down, because most of the time, you know, you don't need the full photo to get the effect anyway. And then especially if you had garden photos, that I just think it'd be perfect there. But it could be used for a lot of things. And again, I made, if you see their suggestions, they have like tiny little photos. I wanted you to have more room for larger photos. And I believe even a 6x4 would fit in here. So see, I left all the little ephemera loose so that you could tuck your photo in underneath. And then this would be pretty. What about for these little frames like that, like a 2.5 by 2.5? That would look nice in there. And then over here, we've got some room, maybe a 2 3/4 by 4 would fit in there. Some of them, I also left the frame loose at the top so you could slide photos down in should you want to, and it will slide under that vest. There we go. You know, so if you had a larger one, you could slide it in under there. And then if I were you, you could just take a little bit of adhesive and put it down after you get your photos in. I wanted to give you room to put your photos. Now this little film strip one, you could take your wallet size photos. I always get wallet size developed too, then that way, not developed, you know, printed at Walgreens. But anyway, then this would fit nicely there. This is just like a little, you know, your photos would be your wallet size or 2 by 2. You would just go ahead and trim that down a little bit, and wouldn't that be cute? So this, like if you had your prized flowers and a close-up of them, wouldn't that be beautiful in there? Or even like if you had a sweet little grandbaby's face, that would go there. And then you have room, I meant to mention, you have room for journaling. And really, if you're someone who doesn't mind writing everywhere, you could write in here and on there. It's your book. Or if you give it as a gift, it's their book to do what they want to with it. And then we've got, this would do one of those 2 3/4 by 4 would fit in there. I love the paper background. That's probably about the biggest that would fit in there. And then we could have us, let's see, probably maybe something like this. 5 1/2 by 3 1/2. No, it's too tall. How about a 4 by 5? Yeah. So you wouldn't have to trim much off of your 4 by 6. So a 4 by 5 would fit nicely in there. Don't you just love the hummingbirds and the flowers? And you got room in here to write. And then you could make a note of what the day was right in there. And then we have, let's see. I actually did this beforehand. Now I can't remember what I fit where. There we go. So that would be like a 5 by 3 would fit nicely there. How about a 4 1/2 by 2 3/4 would fit in there, especially if you wanted to do it even. You could go like that. And then we've got over here, this would probably fit a 4 by 5. And just lift your little leaves up. There we go. And everything fits underneath, and this will fit over top. So see how beautiful. I mean, this is just really beautiful. This will probably do our 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, or you could even have, you know, the wallet size would fit in there, and you'd have some of the background showing. Or I should say some of the mat showing. All right, now we move on to the other side, and you've got room there to journal. And this will lift up if you want to write underneath of it. And we got, I think, a 4 by 4. All this stuff will come up for you to slide in. Oh, yeah. So a 4 by 4 would be lovely there. And then maybe just one of our 5 by 3s again. So this will all lift up for you to slide in your photo. And then you could do your little 1 1/2 in there again. And this will come underneath here. Yeah, probably wouldn't show much of your photo, would it? Okay. And then, and this frame, if you had something larger that you need to slide in it, you could slide in. Then we have over here my heart, and you just write something there. Okay, and then we've got our 2 3/4 is a nice, 2 3/4 by 4 is a nice size for these. And then over here, what will we do? Maybe a 5 by 4. Yep. And it just will go underneath all your little pieces there. So beautiful. Just start imagining some of the photos that would just look gorgeous in here. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and then over here we could do, with a whole 4 by 6. Now it's going to be too long, I can tell already. But I think a 4 by 5 4x5 will fit nicely there. And I inked all the edges of the mats and so forth so that it would be, you know, you wouldn't have to fill it up. And then you could write on there. And then of course we have our 2.5 by 2 3/4. That's a little bit bigger, but you know what? Sometimes I don't mind them not fitting exactly in the frame, but the 2.5 by 2.5 would fit completely in the frame. Okay. And we've got, what, a 4x6? I know a 4x5. I know a 4x5 will fit in here. Oh yeah, I think we can fit a 4x6, so you wouldn't even have to crop it. So we've had a couple that you could do the 6x4 or 4x6, and you wouldn't need to crop at all. So this would just go under there for you. Well, you might have to crop a little bit off the top. That should go down. There we go. I tried to make them all so that things would slide in. And then over here, it's probably too big for this one. What was I thinking? Let's see. There's a 2 3/4. That's too small. I mean, you could do that. That's going to be too big. Well, not really. There you go. 4x4 will fit in there. The other thing I've been meaning to say is you could also do circle photos, because I do that a lot. I have a, from Creative Memories, I have those circle cutouts that you can use. All right, more writing space there. I think we got the handle. That's the 2.5 by 2.5. And then we could do a 4x4 in there. And I know I get all mine printed at Walgreens, and I know that they do print 4x4s. And then that would be a 5x4 if you wanted to put that one in there, or even 4x5. Either way, that would work. Now I know that fits a 4x6. I love that. So you got a nice full-size photo in there. Room to journal. And then we reached the end, sadly. But I made a pocket out of this. So I did my little cover piece there. And then I made a pocket piece. And this is the Creative Memories punch I used. And you've got a little tag here with some charms. It says happiness. And we've got an umbrella for some outdoor stuff. And then that just tucks down in there for you or your person that you're giving it to. And then we're just plain on the back. So that is our lovely album. Let me show you, sorry to reach in front of the camera here. This is the box that you will get with it. It comes with it, and it fits perfectly in there. Beautiful butterfly box. And then when you open it, let me move this a minute. I'll show you how nicely it fits in there. But when you open it, there's a spot here if you wanted to give this as a gift, or even you can write your own little note on here if you're keeping it, you know, of what it is. And so we've got a little gift, you are magical, and you can write on the back if you're giving that as a gift. And it just slides back in there. Then we've got our nice box, and this fits perfectly in that box, and that's how it will come to you, ready to put your photos in and journal, or ready to go ahead and give it as a gift. So I hope you like that, and like I said, this will be listed in my Etsy store, and I'll have the link below and in a comment. Thank you so much for watching.